Vice President Inonge Winner was in Northern Province for a one-day working visit which took her to Luwingu and Chiluwi districts. The Vice President arrived at Kasama Airport around 09 hours where she addressed scores of residents who welcomed her. In her address, Mrs. Winner outlined some of the programs government is promoting to spur economic development in the country as well as better people's living standards in rural areas.
Care of farmers in the rural areas can defeat poverty, can come out of marginalization if they form cooperatives, because it's through cooperatives that you can have access to knowledge, to financial services, to skills, and to many other opportunities that can enhance your livelihoods. Your government is willing to support you, is ready to support you if you come up with viable projects that can be supported by the government.
From Kasama Airport, the Vice President immediately flew to Menga, located about 30 kilometers from Luwingu Administrative Center. At Menga, Mrs. Winner officially opened Menga Health Post, which is one of the 650 health posts which the government has earmarked to build across the country.
The rationale of this unprecedented construction of health posts is aimed at bringing construction of health posts, is aimed at bringing primary health care as close to the family as possible. This health post, ladies and gentlemen, we are commissioning today will go a long way in the provision of health services for a total population of over 7,000 of our people in this particular catchment area. It will help mitigate the difficulties of traveling long distances to access primary health care.
Menga Health Post lies within Lubanseshi constituency, and Area Member of Parliament George Mwamba was on hand to spell out the benefits of the health post to the local people.
The opening of one of such to you, Madam, and His Excellency, Mr. Chagwalongo, we are saying you are very, very creative. This place is 25 kilometers from here up to the Boma. So people used to get a lot of difficulties to get to an area where they could access services.
While in Luwingu, the Vice President also had a meeting with the traditional leadership from Luwingu district. Among the chiefs present, Senior Chief Shimumbi, Chieftainess Chungu, Chief Katuta, Chief Chabola, and Chief Tungati. The traditional leaders highlighted some of the challenges being faced in their chiefdoms and the successes the government has scored in the district.
We are still waiting for tarring of Luwingu Musaila Road via Ipuskiro and Chungu Road. But surprisingly, the contractor Motor Angels who were on site is nowhere to be seen. Our communities need to see the work starts this year. In addition to that, our people are still looking forward to see the Luwingu Nsombo Chaba road to be tarred.
Mrs. Winner was on hand to give government's position on the issues raised by their Royal Highnesses.
I was once a minister for chiefs, and as a result of that, I'm very versed with some of the issues that relate to the situation in your chiefdoms. For example, the issue of accommodation, the issue of decent housing for our chiefs. This is of great concern to the government of PF, and that's why we came up with a scheme to build houses for our chiefs. But you may be aware that we have 285 chiefs in the country, and it's not very easy for government to build houses in 1 year or 2 years. It takes time. It has to be planned for. However, time has come for the government of Zambia to elevate the status of our chiefs. One of the very important roles of chiefs in our country is that of land ownership. To develop, especially the rural parts of Zambia, the land management has to be looked at. And as most of the land in the country is in the custody of chiefs, we look to chiefs to allocate land to the citizens so that they are empowered and be more productive.
The vice president later moved to Chilubi Island, where she held a meeting with Chief Matipa and Chief Chiwanangala to discuss various issues of national interest.
We want to have good houses at 2 palaces. Therefore, I appeal to the government to consider renovating it, or we need to have 2 new houses built at Chief Chiwanangala's palace as well as Chief Matipa's palace. Vehicles. Your Honor, we don't have vehicles at our palaces. One which is at the palace of His Royal Highness Chief Chiwanangala does not function. We need replacement of new ones.
Mrs. Winner reiterated government's desire to improve the status of traditional leaders in the country for them to effectively partner with government in running public affairs.
It's very important that we visit the Royal Highnesses as government representatives so that we hear at first hand what challenges they face. Because we consider the Royal Highnesses, our traditional leaders, as partners in development. On our traditional leaders to sensitize their people on a number of government programs that come into their chiefdoms. Due to limited time, it's not possible for me to respond to each challenge that were presented to us. However, I'll touch on 2 or 3. And one of those is the creation of a district. Creation of a district, Your Royal Highnesses, requires a lot of funding. And by the time your request came in, I think it found that the president of Zambia then, Mr. Sata, had made commitments in other parts of the country where 23 new districts were created. So the national budget could not accommodate any more districts at that time. However, a request does not die. It will be there and it will be considered.
Kambashi Outgrower Scheme is an initiative spearheaded by Eurobus proprietor Robert Chomba and Santa Maria Catholic Church. The vice president visited the Fish Outgrower Scheme and opened the project for residents of Chilubi, mostly the women. She also toured the breeding ponds before venturing on Lake Bangweulu to inspect the cages. The scheme will provide fingerlings to small-scale farmers within the area.
The step that started small goes a long way. Kambashi is a company that started with 1 cage, and now we have 15. But most of all is the recognition that your government has given us. The support of financial support that the government of our President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has given to Kambashi and the people of Chilubi. This support is going to be used for outgrower scheme under Kambashi bream fisheries.
The Kambashi Fisheries Outgrower Scheme has elected Chilubi Member of Parliament because of the economic and social benefit it will bring to the island.
there is a program which was supposed to be initiated by our colleagues from the Fisheries Department, and the total amount of 600,000 was allocated. But to date, our colleagues have lamentably failed to put this project in place. Because as I'm talking now, people would have benefited from that project. I want to give great thanks to the management of Kambashi Bream Fisheries, who have extended a hand to the people of Chilubi, because out of their own effort, Madam Vice President, a lot of people around this place have learned a lot, and they've even gone to the extent of engaging now in fish farming at personal level.
The Vice President presented a 4,100,000 kwacha check to the scheme to facilitate its further development. Kambashi Fisheries qualified for government funding after it was found bankable among other community initiatives that were appraised in the country. She said by supporting the scheme, government is living up to the expectation of prioritizing rural development in order to address high levels of inequality existing between rural and urban areas.
Government has recognized that enhancing rural development is one of the strategic interventions towards reducing high levels of inequality and rural-urban migration that has characterized economic growth in Zambia, which places emphasis on public and private capital investment on programs that have a bias towards rural development, job and wealth creation, so as to achieve inclusive growth. The low levels of development recorded in rural areas in the past decade, in the midst of high economic growth, requires that government continues to prioritize rural development, even in the 7th National Development Plan, which is being developed. It is against this background that government undertook a thorough assessment of projects initiated by local people using their own indigenous knowledge systems with a view to stimulate them through capital injection and increase their production and productivity. It is therefore with this profound pleasure and the honor to announce that one of the projects that was found to be bankable with maximum benefits to the community is the Kambashi Bream Fish Outgrowers Society, championed by St. Maria Parish Catholic Church.
The Kambashi Outgrower Scheme project is a model that a locally grown initiative by local people using their own indigenous knowledge, skill, and available resources can supplement government effort in developing rural areas. After a busy day in Northern Province, the Vice President left for Lusaka to attend to other equally important national duties.